Hello everyone. In the present video, I will continue the discussion on Gramsci's concept of hegemony. In the present video, I will discuss specifically how Gramsci's idea of hegemony or concept of hegemony is relevant in the contemporary time and how far the hegemony is applied in the present context. So let's discuss. As we know, Gramsci differentiated hegemony from the domination. So hegemony is a process of influencing among three important domains of the society: culture, politics, and economy. Culture influences economy, or economy influences culture, or economy influences both politics and culture, or politics influences both culture. So it's a mutual exchange, a network of influence, and this process of influence is called hegemony. Now question comes, who is leading? Who is playing the role of hegemony? Which group, which party, which section of population in a society is in a hegemonic position? Of course, those working class, they also may form a hegemonic group. Bourgeoisie class may also form a hegemonic group. But here, most important point is the political party. According to Gramsci, political party plays a very important role, because political party who comes into the power exercise, and in this process of exercise they form a government and lead a particular state. So modern democracy has come up with the party politics. So in the party politics, party takes part in the power exercise, and ultimately it's a particular political party or alliance of the political party forms the state, forms the government to lead a state. So here the political domain plays a very important role. But again, we cannot say that political domain is taking the lead in the hegemonic process. No. Sometimes the economy plays a determining role in making a particular political alliance or a particular political party form the government. Sometimes both economy and political domain are determined by the cultural factors of a particular society. That is, cultural factors makes a particular political party forms the government. Or sometimes cultural factors takes the help of the political factor, and ultimately they comes up in the position. So point here is that these three domains mutually exchange a network of influence. This is called hegemony. The question is that, is this hegemony relevant today? We have to say yes, because the present process of hegemony is different again in the contemporary time. Why different? Because the very notion of the oppressed class or subordinate class or working class has changed. Why? Because of the process of mobility. Today, capitalism has offered the multidimensional opportunities of social mobility, economic mobility, cultural mobility, even political mobility. So mobility reduces the chances of organized revolution, chances of organized contradiction or conflict. And what happens that people accept the leadership of bourgeoisie. Sometimes people accept the leadership of the state, leadership of a particular political party in the state. But it's not that modern society is completely free from working class revolution or any kind of proletariat revolution or the subaltern revolution. No, there are revolutions which are going on across the world. So today's the revolutions in the Gramsci's conceptual narrative, we can say these revolutions are today categorized into one ideological movement called socialist movement or socialism. And what Gramsci also pointed out, that socialism is one one category of movement which includes the movement of the feminist, movement of the sexual minorities, the movement of the ethnic minorities, movement of the lower classes, lower castes, and different other groups. All subaltern groups, they forms a particular alliance called socialism or socialist movement, which basically move against the bourgeoisie, against the state, against the domination of a particular political hegemony. So this kind of revolution and movement and the activism is there in the society. But as I have already said, this today's very trend of the movement has changed. Today, very hardly you will find any kind of the working class revolution or subaltern revolutions in any of the country. It's very difficult to find. Of course, you may give an example of political campaign of any particular country, be it India, be it any other USA or UK. Political campaign, sometimes working class or working groups or working organization, trade unions, labor unions come up and do protest or do a particular kind of movement. But this, we can say, again a part of the hegemonic process of the leading political party or hegemonic process of the elite groups who are leading the state, who are leading the economy, or who is leading the culture, because they also needs to convince the people that there is the opportunity of movement, there is the opportunity of even taking part in the revolution. There is rights, there is liberty, there is freedom. You can do movement, you can do revolution, you can take part in activism, which is also necessary for the hegemonic group to maintain their hegemony. So in the present context, we can say the revolution, movement, activism are used by even hegemonic groups to maintain their hegemony. So very notion of the oppressed class and their revolution has changed today. As I have said already, that the advanced capitalist society or advanced industrial society or post-industrial society today changed or transformed the very notion of working class, very notion of the domination, very notion of the hegemony. Today, the people who wants to be in the leading group tries to join the bourgeoisie. They don't forms the working class, they don't forms the subaltern group. They rather joins the bourgeoisie group or the leading group in the state politics, so that they can become the part of the hegemony. Of course, there are certain cases and examples we will find in different countries of the world, where various weaker sections, subaltern groups, be it caste groups or class groups or social or ethnic groups or minority groups, who forms a particular kind of the revolutionary group. But again, these revolutionary groups lacks the organized pattern of hegemony, because sometimes these groups takes the economic interest, sometimes these groups completely isolate themselves as a political group, sometimes they becomes completely a cultural religious group. So they don't maintain the network of economic, cultural and political exchange, and that is why they fails to become hegemonic. They fails to become the hegemonic. So to become hegemonic, a revolutionary group or a group needs to maintain a connection or network among the domains such as economic, culture and politics. Simply a group, if fights for cultural interest, ethnic interest, would fail. If it only fights for the political interest, it would fail. If it is working only for the certain economic interest, it would fail. it cannot be considered as a hegemonic group. It cannot be considered as a hegemonic class according to Gramsci. So this kind of situation is there in the present context. If we see the present scenario, so today there is no such organized working class revolution or working class movement. Of course, there are certain activism going on, or occasional activism comes up or emerges during the time of election campaign, political campaign in different countries of the world, and maybe in the form of environmental activism which also comes up, but they fails, or those groups fails to maintain a hegemonic group. If we take the example of the environmental activism, so at global level, of course, environmental movement and environmental activism has been a leading, emerging or leading the activism, but it is also not properly maintaining the hegemonic group, not able to maintain the proper hegemonic system, because most of the political system of the world, excluded the environmental issue from its activities, from its agendas, from its operations, though they take it as important issue. So this can be discussed in any other video. So our point is that Gramsci's hegemony is very important and relevant even today, but today's advanced industrial society, post-industrial society has changed, transformed in many forms, in many ways. So we may find its relevance, but situation has changed. The context has changed. The very function of the capitalism has changed. The very nature of the hegemony has changed. The mechanism of maintaining hegemony has changed. A new mechanism emerged. New mechanism emerged with the development of technology, with the development of technological advancement, and the techno-social revolution, we can say, techno-social revolution had reduced the chances of social movement or social activism. Rather, people get adjusted into the situation. They accept the leaders. And in the name of democracy, there again comes a chance of changing the government but again, this is not because of any revolution. This is a regular practice in any of the country or any state. It's a regular practice. After 5 years, 10 years, 3 years, there would be elections, there would be change of the government. This changing of government does not mean change of the system. It's just the change of certain parties, change of certain peoples. But system of hegemony remains same. So this is how we can find the relevance of hegemony and how we can understand it in the present context. So this much is the present video. Thank you very much for watching. I would continue the discussion in the next video. Thank you.